Damn. Another day. He had gone through that daily routine for a while now. Get up early, go to work, eat, go back to work, get home, eat again, sleep. His salary wasn't much, but not too low either. It was enough to get by, and the job was decent. That was the first step. In time, he would have enough money to save it up for the second, and he would soon get there. Just a bit more. The problem would be the third step, and the fourth, and the fifth. What future awaited him? What did he really want to do in his life? Even back then, he already felt satisfied with the path he had taken. Without a grand dream nor a great ambition, it was a journey with no destination. Was that good enough? Sometimes he wondered if he really could live like that forever. With enough money, he could try to get a career, but which one? Nothing especially called out to him. Nothing sounded especially bad to him. For years, he had focused on reaching that point where he could live by himself without depending on others, without bothering others. He had reached it. His dream was his present life. Now, he needed a new dream. And yet, no matter how much he tried, he had found none that could fuel his passion. He wasn't depressed about it. He hadn't lost sleep over it. But that uncertainty, that doubt, had embedded itself inside him, resurfacing every now and then with a growing frequency. Maybe because of it, to avoid obsessing over it, he had focused so much on his routine. It was a safe space, something he didn't need to worry over. That uncertain future, it still hadn't arrived. Maybe it never would. Truce. How long is this demo? I've been going at this all night last night and all day today. Which is good. That means this is good content. Okay. Thankfully, we already have a save, but I'm going to go ahead and just put a save up here too while I'm at it, just in case. My number is 1. That was his decision. Everyone's reaction was instantaneous. Not so much because of the number he had chosen, but because he'd taken Dart's deal. But why 1? The data he had received confirmed to him that he didn't have 1, 5, 7, or 9. Among those safe choices, he had gone with 1, the most powerful beyond question. Giving out that number meant that the others could be sure he didn't have the ability to kill anybody directly. It was another way to gain their trust. Yeah. But even so, with that decision, he had put his life on their hands. As Gin put it, any one of them now had the chance to accuse him of being Rule 1, forcing him to reveal his real one. And if that happened, he wouldn't be able to answer and would be eliminated, which nobody knew. Even so, his words seemed to have convinced them, for now at least, to search for an alternative that required no deaths. Or perhaps they just honored his bravery. Either way, nobody initiated an accusation, and Darts had no choice but to completely accept his proposal, as promised. From then on, an oath to fulfill Rule 3, and in order to be decided at random, would have to be followed. Moreover, no one could be forced to show their real number by proving they lied. And with that, they manually concluded the council with their barman. It was then that a message arrived from the owner, the mastermind. They had to take their antidotes, but there were still a few minutes left until the end of the hour, when they would be distributed.
Well, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Lime stood up and stretched her arms. I'm needing to stand up a stretch. Nobody answered. I'll admit, I didn't expect you to accept. You have my respect, especially with your choice of number.
Thanks?
But if we don't find a way to escape, sooner or later we'll have to play the game for real.
If someone takes the first step, everyone else will have to follow in order to survive.
Coffee's voice was low, almost a whisper, but her words had weight. Good thing I kind of changed my voice to match that! Sorry. Yeah, okay. It could be said that Bill had managed to form a truce, but it was a fragile peace. Peace hanging only by a thread of hope.
Then when do we decide that order, and how?
We should probably do it now.
Well, then let's go! Rock, paper, scissors!
What is with your obsession with that game?
Well, I got a better idea. We're already playing a game, so let's not get too crazy.
Nothing beats the classics. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Works for me. Let chance decide.
Some didn't seem as convinced with the idea, but the majority had chosen and nobody had any better ideas. Minutes later, the order had been decided. Bill, as the bystander, wrote it down in the notes section of his barman. Okay. So, the results in order are... Council 2, cigar. Council 3, cocktail. Council 4, poker. 5 vodka, 6 coffee, 7 lime. 8 darts, 9 piano, 10 gin. How can I be this unlucky?
You're really bad at rock, paper, scissors, huh?
You can't be good at a completely luck-based game.
As for me, can't say I'm lucky after I ended up in this place.
We need to get out of here ASAP. The less far we get down this list, the better.
But if it's your turn, you do it.
Easy for you to say when you're near the end, kid.
Not a kid!
No fighting now.
Alright, so now what?
Fuck, this is just gonna... This demo's gonna be the entire week's force, but I still gotta do Persona 5. There's no skipping that. I'm definitely doing that. I'm just glad that there's already a lot of content with this demo. We should take our antidotes. The drink should be on the counter. Yes, please. I need something strong.
Like a shot of bleach!
What?
I once read a novel with a murder where the killer used detergent to do it. Don't give me that look, it was a joke! I wasn't talking about killing you. Man, people have lost their sense of humor. Weird novel, I know. Sequel is better.
Everyone else began to rise from the table, heading to the counter. For the time being, they would leave the place just as it was for use in future councils. A small empty cry came from behind Bill. He immediately turned around and saw vodka lying on the floor. Are you okay? Everyone still around ran to him. Still breathing, so I'd say I am. This body isn't what it used to be. Well, never one was for sports. Who am I kidding?
Did you trip with something? There's nothing to trip on, though.
Oh. It's probably the poison. The poison's probably affecting him.
The Phantom Banana Peel is back with a vengeance.
Oh no, my body simply went poof, and here I am now. Just my age, nothing to surprised over. This stuff happens sometimes. Even so, something was off. Bill put his hand to Vodka's forehead. Just as he feared, it was hot. A fever? Or maybe... Are you sure that's all it is? Truth be told, I'm sorry to say I'm not a doctor. The shocker I know. Although my head is the one that's really in shock right now. Everything's hazy. It has to be the poison. Oh, now that you mention it, that could be it, yes. Then it's true. We really are poisoned. I feel slightly off as well, but that's about it. It would make sense for someone of his age to be weaker to the poison, however. We must hurry. Let's get the poison.
Yo, Bill, help me Billin, help me carry him.
My name's not Billin. Putting their strengths together by each grabbing a shoulder, they raised him up. By the time they got to the counter, the drinks were already on it waiting for them.
They came down from that lift over there. Would be nice if we could use it to get out of here. Too small, though. Doesn't seem like there's any way to turn it on from here.
Maybe the kid can fit.
Hey!
Also, did the art just get a little bit more pixelated? Maybe I'm imagining things.
Dunno. Have you tried putting him on it?
We could give it a shot.
I'm too big to fit in there!
That aside, he could get hurt. Don't pressure him. I like how, like, Cigar is kind of playing like a motherly role to Piano. It's kind of cute. What we should do, and quick, is drink the antidotes. Cocktail pointed to the tray with the drinks.
Each one has a name on it.
And showed the glass in his hand, already empty with a label attached that said poker.
I can say this. Whoever made my cocktail had good taste.
Cocktail took a sip of the one that carried his name. It was a small glass of only a few centimeters containing a transparent liquid. Due to its lack of color, the cherry on top stood up more. The man's face wrinkled as liquid went through his throat. A chupito habanera. While I can't say one way or the other about the production quality of these cocktails, I can guarantee that this vodka is very good indeed. Literally, we each have a different type of alcoholic drink from the sounds of it.
How nice of you to say, young lad.
Huh?
Age didn't take everything away from me. Her sense of humor is vital in life.
A small chuckle escaped from Cocktail's lips before they bit into the cherry. Each drink was different, and at a glance it seemed to be made with everyone's taste in mind. Once again, they were showing they'd done their research on them, though that wasn't the most pressing issue at the moment. In the brief time they took to get there, he'd started to feel a moderate headache. His vision had become somewhat blurry, and even had a slight feeling of nausea. It hadn't reached the point of being serious yet, but the poison had begun to show its form. They had to take the drinks with the alleged antidote before their states worsened, so they could survive for at least one more hour. Bill and Lime managed to sat down vodka on one of the stools and gave him his drink, which appeared to be some sort of... Yes, vodka. Getting drunk in that situation didn't seem like a great idea, but he had no other choice. Bill took his glass. He didn't know much about the subject, so he had no idea what cocktail he was about to drink. But his life was more important, so he downed it all in a single go. It had a citric taste. Lemon. Not bad. Little by little, he began to feel the slight headache diminishing until it was gone. A few minutes later, everything went back to normal. He even felt pretty good, though that might have been partly due to the drink itself. Everyone looked to be the same, but he decided to ask anyways. Did you notice the effects of the poison? Like our wait. Oh my god, that's why everything looked pixelated! It was literally the poison! Okay! I felt nauseous on the way here, and then I had some chills, but maybe I was just nervous, but...
No, I noticed something like that too. Almost threw up.
No, there's no question about it. If we don't find another way, our only option is to play the game. They had come across several hurdles during the council, but by drinking the antidotes, they had officially made it past the first hour. Yes. Yes, we did. All numbers were still alive. That included the problematic ones like 3 and 4. For the game to end and recover their freedom, only 3 of them or less had to remain alive. So said the core rules of the game. One by one, the rules had to fall. Billiard still couldn't accept it. It wasn't blind optimism. He wasn't expecting any magical solution to appear in front of them. He wasn't even expecting a rescue team to arrive. What could be considered the ideal outcome? In essence, he wouldn't give up until every other possibility was explored. Whatever was the most realistic option, or whatever were their odds, didn't matter to him. It didn't matter that they were strangers, or even what he thought of them. He'd managed to bring them to his side for now, or so it seemed. It was far from a victory, in fact. He could feel the ground crumbling not too far behind him. The worst-case scenario was coming. He had no way of knowing how long that truce would last. He had to hurry. all rules have been placed on the board. The game asked for them to be brought down, but to Bill, the real end game was to overturn the board itself. A distant goal, perhaps, an impossible one. One beyond optimism, beyond the game. But he would stretch his arm until he reached it. The tension had cleared up since the council's end, and once everyone had drank their antidotes, the group had split up across the bar. Bill still remained at the counter. He'd used that small respite to try to write down something on the notepad included in the barman. Beside himself, Cocktail had also stayed there. It seemed like he'd gotten a liking to working behind the counter. Either that, or as many had already guessed, this wasn't his first time behind one. He was holding up one of the empty glasses, smelling it. Bill could read piano in its label. Oh, crap. That kid didn't have to drink alcohol, did he? Wait, what are you doing? As I thought, just wanted to make sure. About what? Piano's cocktail. I wondered if it was alcoholic. As expected, no, I can't smell any alcohol in it. It does have a pineapple, though. That's for sure. So they probably just gave him pineapple juice. Good. At least the kid didn't have to drink alcohol. Wow. They really put some thought into this, huh? Certainly. If you wish to hear my opinion, the attention to detail that's been put into this game is appalling. Right. Especially when you add the data we've received. How much do they know about us? It doesn't end there. I'd go as far as to say that our drinks have been carefully chosen for each of us. Piano's non-alcoholic cocktail, my vodka shot, or Lime's lime drink. What's with lime and lime? Following the same logic, maybe our nicknames have some reason behind them. Though I can't think of any relation between me and billiards. About your drink, the Midori Sour, have you tried it before? Midori Sour? Not sure, to be honest. You aren't sure? I don't remember. I've tried a bunch of drinks, but I'm not an expert. I can imagine, yes, but the Midori Sour has a very characteristic trait. Hard to forget it. The citric? Really? What's that? Well, it has a very striking green color. It's very easy to recognize. I do like me some green, like your green eyes. Now that you mention it, maybe I did try it at some point. I feel like I had a similar conversation with someone. I see. You might do well in trying to remember. After all, there must be a reason why our host chose that drink for you. Maybe. Yeah. Once they were done with the drinks, the side effects of the poison quickly died down. Any possible doubts left about the authenticity of the poison appeared to have vanished. They had felt it. Of course, he hadn't checked it if it would really result in their deaths if they didn't drink the antidote, but taking such a risk was unnecessary. Neither could they know for certain if winning the game would grant them a permanent antidote, but they had no choice but to believe it. And so, with a real danger practically confirmed, the conversation sprouted. Well, we got over the first hurdle. His intention was to encourage everyone to reduce tensions. If we keep working together, we could easily keep ourselves alive. He knew it wouldn't be so easy, and especially not simple. But he knew in those moments that he had to be positive to prevent the situation from falling apart. Totally. Until the time when we all die together arrives. Lovely ending, though. Ooh, that background. He turned his head and looked at Gin, seated on one of the nearby tables. His little bet quickly fell apart when the true obstacle to their survival was mentioned. Rule 4. He hadn't forgotten it, but wanted to keep the peace going for as long as possible. There's still a lot of time for that. I mean, until then, we have time to find the way out. Yeah, I know. I'll try to be more positive.
Or we could get rid of that rule so we can have all the time in the world. Of course, then our time limit with, how much we can endure without food. And sleep. We'd have to keep an eye open just in case.
You're asking too much, Ace of Clubs. I became a sloth bear when sleeping, or a non-sloth bear hibernating. I pick Pick whichever bear metaphor you prefer.
You are a delightful weirdo.
Rule 4 is our biggest threat. And naturally, its owner won't confess. We need other methods. Gen came back to the counter, interested in joining the discussion, which had quickly ended up on that unavoidable subject. 9 hours left. If the player in possession of that rule was still alive on the 10th, their lives were over. Were 9 hours enough time for a miracle? What was the likelihood of a rescue? Not even the date, or how much time had gone by since their capture was known to them. The police would start a search sooner or later, but it could be too late by the time they were found. In fact, they also could be sure they were on the same city, or even country. They couldn't be sure, sorry. If they were taken for, finding them would take days. Taken far. Weeks, maybe months. It was because of that he had chosen to not say much of that option, focusing on the possibility of an escape.
Rule 4 isn't the only threat, nor the biggest.
Again, the young woman's voice broke into the conversation.
It seems we overcame Rule 3 for now, but you're forgetting 1 and 9.
It's certainly true that there's one person that can remove us if they so desired, but it would be 9 against 1.
We can't kill, but the rule doesn't forbid self-defense.
If one attacks, we can stop them. I doubt one will attack openly. If they do, they'd have to plan it well.
And there's no firearms here. Not that we know anyways. That doesn't worry me much, but Rule 9 could.
9 is those missions, right? We just gotta do them.
In secret, though, which means we can't help each other.
I wasn't referring to carrying them out. From hour 6 onward, that rule guarantees the death of 1 to 2 players per hour.
The spy and the 3 better halves. Rules that made it impossible to avoid a death. The spy had to reveal someone's secret objective, pushing them into their deaths to avoid their own. And if 3 better halves were in play, only 2 could fulfill their objective, leaving the 3rd alone. The only way to avoid it was removing Rule 9. Clearly the best way for everyone, but that of course also meant the death of the rule's representative.
So in short, peace can only last for 6 hours.
That's why we have to hurry.
Very how? My head isn't making sense of all this.
Top priority is Rule 2. That's the obstacle keeping us here.
So we find 2, and then we...
No. We'll find another way.
What other way? There's none! Or do you have any idea?
Of course not! He had convinced them to search for a way out of the game, but that didn't mean they had agreed to avoid any death. If there was a way to do that, they would feel probably aggrieved, but nobody there wanted to kill. But they were against the ropes. Okay, one thing I wish you could do is save everywhere, but it seems like you can only save at very specific points. He had expected to end up in that situation. He had expected to end up in that situation at some point, but he wished to have had a bit more time to think. He wasn't any sort of genius, and everything was new to him. He was still trying to process all the information. He found it impossible to get to a convincing solution so soon, assuming it even existed. Everyone's gazes focused on him, pressured him with no need for words. It made him wonder if he was alone on that search for an end, where nobody had to kill or be killed. If everyone had gave up except for him. He was alone. The rest, some more than others, had mostly accepted it was impossible. The realistic outlook, the most logical and reasonable, the least human. Kill 2, escape the bar. After that, search for the antidotes and the exit. If they didn't find them, they'd kill 9 to extend their lives. Naturally, 4 would go as well, to truly extend their time. At that point, any death would be justified, one after another until finally only the winners of the game remained. That was a scenario that tormented Bill. If they killed 2 to advance, any other obstacle they found on their path would be solved in the same manner. The first death was the hardest, but after crossing that line that no human should, all subsequent times were much easier. When the end justified the means once, it'll do so twice, thrice, and so on. Perhaps the only other alternative was the one he'd already considered. Go outside alone, jump into the unknown blindly. Are you okay, boy? Suddenly, some of the eyes on him turned a look of worry. He drank his antidote. The effects of the poison should be gone. It took him a moment to realize his own actions. He was crouching on the floor, almost into a ball with his hands on his head. For how long had he been like that? Since when? He did not know. He got up slowly, looking around. I'm fine. Oh, thank God. I almost had a heart attack.
You too? Almost had ourselves a combo.
So I wasn't the only one. I believe that was a panic attack. You must have felt too pressured. Sorry. No, Cocktail is right. Sorry. Kid, you apologize too.
You think you're my mom?
I don't need to be her to tell you to have some manners.
If he didn't know, he shouldn't have said anything.
Drop it. Even if time's running out, we need to relax and think slowly. I'm glad that, like, they're now, like, there's some empathy going on, like, fuck it, it's one of those two. But, like, it is good that they're kind of like, oh shit, is he okay? That is, at least, relieving to some extent. Somewhat. Still. I get you, Bill, but this responsibility isn't just yours. For now, the only option seems to be removing Rule 2, but we have 5 hours. We can keep searching. We look through every nook and cranny of this place, then we'll talk again. Agreed. Coffee looked at Bill one more time with a hard-to-decipher look, stood up and left. Darts left too, followed by the others.
Rest up a while, kid. The shit seems to be getting to you too hard.
Okay, now I can save again. Good. I think that was a very, very good scene, though. That was actually really good.
The shock he had was shocking in itself, as he really didn't know his mind could have shut. Oh, whoops. It's still thinking like poker's talking. There's a bit of a bug. The shock he had was shocking in itself, as he really didn't know his mind could ever shut down like that. His body still trembled from it, making sure he didn't forget it. The worst part about having a panic attack is, like, sometimes whenever you get it, you become unaware of the surroundings because you're all stuck inside your head. I know earlier this year there was an incident where it was probably much more than a panic attack, but I completely understand where he's coming from. And even more surprising than that, what he really couldn't stop thinking about, what he still couldn't understand was, why did he seem to be the only one seriously affected by it all? That's another good question. Damn. Bill had been left alone in the corner in the counter with cocktail and vodka. Oh, I'm assuming they kind of just stayed behind to keep check on him. He didn't have the will to move after that defeat. He needed to calm down first. Noticing his mood, Cocktail spoke. Do you need a chat? I have experience cheering up people that need it, even if I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm still thinking it over. I agree that we should search outside the bar, but sacrificing someone to do it, it's too much. Your attitude is laudable. I wish such an alternative exists, but I'm afraid I don't see it. Me neither. But I'll keep thinking. Don't strain yourself. Sometimes you need to calm down and let the ideas come on their own. That's very good advice. I'd like to, but there's not much time. We can survive for 5 more hours, but that doesn't mean nobody will do anything for that long. Some already seem to have decided to finish 2 off. That's possible, but
we still don't know who that is, and although they may have acknowledged that's the only possibility of escaping, it doesn't mean they have the resolve to carry it out. Our ends will inevitably come in time, but they'll try to delay a decision as much as possible. You think so? I get the feeling some were already ready to kill. I did so as well, but even if it's true, a majority is needed for an accusation. Or the help of one. Correct.
That's why we need to act before the worst happens.
Two's death.
No, the start of the game. If 2 feels threatened, they'll try to win the game.
I can't deny that. It would make sense that after that conversation, whoever possesses that rule will feel their life is in danger, and act.
And running away would only save them from 1. If we find out someone went out, we'll know it's 2. Yeah. And if a majority vote them out, even if they're not present,
They must feel cornered.
it's the most unfortunate rule to have in that sense. It's an advantage that'll quickly reveal your identity if you make use of it.
Sneaking away without being seen or noticed by anyone would be difficult, no doubt.
Well, if instead of proposing to finish off that rule, they'd have looked for a deal.
A deal?
With 2, make sure nobody votes for them, and let them go out freely to find help. And number 8 could use messages to keep in touch with them and inform us.
That's not a bad idea. It could be the answer you were seeking.
It's not a bad one. It could have been, but I doubt 2 would want to cooperate after that. That was unless he was actually 2. That solitary exploration of the outside was what he had planned to do if he found no other way, betting on the chance of being that rule.
In any case, we shouldn't rely on our salvation waiting on the other side of that door. The owner has allowed one of us to leave, or all of us if that person dies. I doubt the building's exit is easily accessible.
I know, but it's our biggest hope right now.
I don't like being the pessimist, but I felt a reminder was needed. No matter how harsh it may be, you should prepare for the worst.
I know. Believe me, I know, Cocktail. I know.
But I know. I too would prefer to avoid any deaths, and the rest probably do so as well. And yet, it looks like I'm the only one that refuses to play no matter what.
I'm not capable of killing anybody. I don't have that mental strength.
I dare to say that you may be the only one with that strength. Huh? Not the strength to kill, but the strength to put your morals above your life. Those who decide to win the game to survive, at the cost of the rest, won't be cold-blooded killers, but instead victims.
I don't think I can see a killer as a victim. Even if it's to survive, killing makes you a murderer. I'm not saying I can agree with that, though. Killing, in a way, does make you a murderer, but there's 2 different meanings whenever it comes to a murderer, okay? Like, killing in self-defense as one thing, but you're still taking a life. But the situation, it's all about whatever the situation actually is. You know? Anyway,
I'm not saying otherwise. That's why I said cold-blooded. It could be said that someone like that is both victim and killer in equal amounts, but that's quite a complex moral topic. Maybe it can't be seen objectively.
We're the victims of a kidnapping, and whoever put us here is the big culprit. But still, obeying their rules and killing, it's a crime. I can't see it any other way. If we want to stay human, we can't rob other people's lives, no matter what.
Law would agree with you, but I see it differently. We are all in the same boat. We shouldn't see each other as enemies. If by the end we survive at the cost of others, we must cry at their deaths and celebrate our lives. And if we die at the hands of another, we must accept it in peace.
A very commendable way of looking at it, but I doubt most see it that way. Humans are selfish. Empathy has its limits. Even someone like me ready to accept death would curse the one who kills me. That's only fair.
Are you really ready, if so?
Yes, but also no. You see, at this point in life, I've just stopped caring about being consistent. I'll answer one way at one time and later another. Whatever happens, happens. In other words, screw it! God can take my middle finger, and all the others too. Might as well.
I appreciate the lightheartedness, but I think you should calm down slightly.
Well, you don't seem very bothered by all of this either.
I'm only trying to be at peace. Like I said, I don't plan to act, but only observe and protect myself.
So it's two of us then. How about you, boy? You talk much about avoiding deaths. However, would you throw your own life to save another?
Bill finally raised his head. Of course, saving everyone meant him as well. It was the ambition of a hero, even though he didn't see himself as one. So if he had to choose between his life or someone else's, nobody, including myself, will die.
I see. How youthfully optimistic.
His answer was not to answer. In a way, it had started to feel like a challenge. Prove them wrong! That they could reach that ideal ending. By looking at it that way, his motivation grew. Billiards, keep your head down. There's a way to survive without playing this game. Maybe right now it doesn't seem possible, but in time it will appear. Vodka, until that moment carefree, stared him in the eyes.
Those eyes. Are you implying it's not optimism, but a certainty?
Yes. It came out without a thought. It really wasn't optimism or certainty, just stubbornness, but against the sudden pressure, he had lied.
Maybe I got you wrong, young lad. What you have is madness.
Huh?
I want to agree, but my senses tell me it's not happening. It's impossible. A few could survive, but most of us are done. Sentenced. Life doesn't have an easy road. Only a catalog ranging from hard to hellish. All uphill. Every day is the same. Wake up with a cup of cynicism for breakfast. Go back to sleep after a handful of disappointments for dinner.
I like the way that... Okay, I'm liking his almost sagely advice here.
This game is no different. There's no happy ending to be found. Though, if you manage to change my mind, you'll win the respect of this old geezer. Not like that has much value.
And just like that, as suddenly as it appeared, all that seriousness just went away. As he gave Bill a few pats on the back. He felt bad for lying, but it didn't say anything. So he decided to do all he could to turn that little lie into the truth. He would find that certainty and break that cynicism. Let's hope. Leaving that aside, does anyone want another drink?
Well, can't say no as long as it's free.
Considering the situation we're in, it would be bad taste if it wasn't.
Exactly.
Fair. It would be bad taste if it wasn't free. The conversation had reached a dead end, the three of them in total silence. Vodka gazed at his half-empty glass with an expressionless face, while licking his dry lips every few seconds to moisten them. Bill had his arms on the counter. While resting his head on one of them, with the tips of his fingers, he tapped the wood, producing a rhythmical pattern.
In his head, memories from the recent dispute the group had were replaying. What directions were things going to go from that point forward? Cocktail had grabbed a wet towel and was spending his time cleaning a glass. The same one, over and over again, for a few minutes. The intention wasn't to make it pristine, but to suppress his anxiousness in a way that wasn't obvious to the other players. Someone sat to his side, making him turn his head. Before his eyes recognized who it was, the smell of tobacco reached his nostrils. Oh! Holding a cigarette and a lighter, Cigar sat down on the stool, crossing one leg over the other. The lighter's spark ignited the tip of the cigar, and after taking in some, she let out a big puff of smoke.
Anything to drink?
Why not? Since we're here, might as well enjoy what we can. What do you have, bartender?
Just about anything.
You know, it's been years since I had a martini. Could you get me one?
Of course. Just a moment.
Oh, and look for some nuts and peanuts or anything like that to eat.
I'll see what I can do.
Bill found Cigar's attitude disconcerting. She was smiling, seemingly looking forward to trying the drink as if the game wasn't her concern, and she was just passing the time on a bar. She's trying to take it nonchalant while trying to stay normal, I'm assuming. That way, otherwise she'd be pulling her hair out, freaking the fuck out. Less than an hour ago, she was panicking severely, wanting to get out of there immediately. It was disturbing. You seem cheerful, Cigar. Excuse me? Her usual look of disdain quickly came back. What are you talking about? I'm not cheerful. As if I could. Then why that smile a moment ago? Must be women stuff, boy. I stopped trying to understand them long ago. I don't think that's it. Bah! Youngsters, I stopped trying to understand you lot long ago. Huh? So then, Cigar, what was going through your head? Why'd you look so upbeat? Clearly it was the martini.
Well, it's a pretty embarrassing thing to admit. It had been a while since...
Since what?
Since I last had a drink, you know, in a bar. This brought me back. Sitting on the counter, smoke in hand, asking the barman for a drink. I missed it a bit. Kind of wanted to relive it again. Shame it had to be under these circumstances.
As Cocktail came with Cigar's drink in a small glass bowl with an assortment of appetizers, another player arrived. Piano sat next to Cigar and looked at the four of them. It seemed like he wanted to say something, but ended up remaining silent while waggling his feet, which didn't reach the floor. Hey, Piano.
What?
The kid's blunt response caught Bill by surprise. It took him a second to put himself back together. And I just wanted to include him in the conversation. Don't you want anything?
I guess, why not?
Okay, so I can't save. Okay. Piano leaned forward to check what the others were having, and saw vodkas in Cigar's cups. The martini seemed too elegant. What a grandiose person would drink. On the other hand, it fit Cigar like a glove. It gave off the impression of a sophisticated woman, or at least of a woman that acted like one. Vodka's was much more alluring to him, so he asked.
What's he having?
Vodka. Vodka seemed to get out of his haze in that moment. What? You said my name? What? Were you calling me?
No. Piano was asking what drink you were having.
Oh, I see. It's vodka, son.
Yeah, he already told me. Then I also want one.
You are 12. You will not have alcohol.
Are you sure?
Isn't it, like, really strong?
Yes, very much so, especially for someone his age.
Oh, come on, dude, give me one. Why do you care?
I think I could, if anything, serve you a sip at most.
That still seems too much.
Okay, fine, that works.
Very well, then. Wait, are you idiots? Is this for real? Huh? Excuse me? Are you really going to give vodka of all things to a kid?
Hey, who says you can decide what I do?
You're 12! I think. Common sense, kid. Last thing we need right now is an alcohol-poisoned child.
Right. That could be really bad for you, Piano.
I'm old enough to decide for myself.
Old enough. Yeah, right. Don't give him anything, Cocktail.
Gimme!
Then what do I do? Do I do it, or... Don't you dare!
Yes, goddammit!
What should I do? Serve or not serve?
Still holding onto the small glass cup filled with a transparent substance on his trembling hand, Cocktail looked both ways, to Cigar and Piano. While they gave him contradictory commands, a drop of sweat ran down his forehead. Do not give the child alcohol! The urge to put an end to the dispute burst out. With no warning, Bill snatched a glass from Cocktail's hand and drank it in a single gulp. Tears peeped out of his eyes when the fluid burned his throat, unaccustomed to such a strong liquor.
Oh, shit.
The woman took one last smoke, puffing it in a way that felt like a sigh. She put the finished cigarette in the glass and looked at the other four players sitting there in what seemed like a look of doubt. Cocktail's eyes fixed on the woman as he frowned. Putting her glass aside, she stared for a moment at the cigarette inside, resting on the half-melted ice cubes, with her nail mark on one of its sides. Cocktail emptied the remains of the cup and started the cleanup. Whew! Okay. Smart move, Bill. Keep the kid away from alcohol! Holy shit! It took him a bit to recover, but several minutes later, with renewed energy, Bill got off the counter and moved to the center of the bar. His head was still full of doubts, but he couldn't afford to stay still for much longer. The most important problem of how to escape didn't seem solvable for the time being. Setting it aside, there were other issues to take care of. And one of them, the simplest of all, was... the data! With every new hour, there were two things he had to check in his barman. Rules 7 and 9, unlocking new data and checking what his objective was. He began with the data. While he didn't want to unravel the numbers of others, it was useful for his own. Not only was it important to know what rule he could disobey, but also necessary to survive Rule 3 if the lie was proven. He opened the data menu and tapped the second one. As he had started with the first one, he decided to continue in order. Oh. Huh. And the data that appeared on screen changed everything. Traveled to another country. 3, 4, 5, 9, and... Oh! Uh-oh. Oh, crap. It was a bit embarrassing for him to admit, but he had barely traveled. The few times he had, it was never too far, and definitely not to other countries. So, if he has never tried going to another country, he has never been to... He doesn't like black coffee. That would mean the only number that he could be would be 2, 6, and 8. That would be the only numbers he could potentially be. If neither data corresponded to him, and assuming the organizer of the game didn't mess up, all those numbers could be ruled out, which only left him with 3. Rule 8, giving control over messaging. Rule 6, giving an advantage to accusals. And more importantly, Rule 2, the key to the outside of the Golden Jack. Oh! Fuck!
Can it really be me?
Up until then, the likelihood that it was him was low, so going outside and search for help was basically suicide, but now that option wasn't as daunting. It was still dangerous. Actually, even if it was his rule, as Cocktail had put it, it was risky for number 2 to go out. It had to not be seen, and his absence go unnoticed.
Wait, what if that's the point? Maybe those obstacles were part of the design of the game. The building's exit had to be somewhere outside of the bar.
The poison forced them to remain there to receive the antidotes, but it wasn't a physical restriction. If they went out with enough time, perhaps they could get to a hospital, but they would get 1 hour at most. Hard, though not impossible, depending on their location. It could be the case that the game was designed so that 2 was forced to not remain outside the bar for too long, to prevent them from escaping. No. There was a problem with that logic. If 2 died, everyone could leave without limitations. There had to be something preventing them from escaping. Perhaps the owner had made sure there wasn't enough time to save themselves from the poison. His head hurt again, and not because of the poison. He had to stop. The important thing is that he had reduced his numbers to 3 candidates. It was time to check the objective. Thanks to his data, he knew for sure that he wasn't 9, so he had to complete them to survive each hour. His first objective appeared. Find a new hint. Hints. According to the rules of the game, information hidden throughout the building. Given that the outside of the bar was only accessible for 1 person, it was to be expected that a good number of them would be hidden inside. He had no idea what form they could take, but it wasn't a bad objective to start with. He already planned to investigate the place in more depth, and that only gave him more reason to. But it was important to not find more than 1 hint. He didn't know how many there were, and there didn't seem to be any way to know. But if they ran out, that objective would become a death sentence. Bill put away his barman. It was time to move. Looking around, there were several places that could contain hints. There were also poker, darts, and gin around the pool table. Were they going to play in those circumstances? They seemed to be the 3 agitators of the group. He probably wasn't going to get any clues from there. There may be a good chance to talk to them. In addition, while he was checking his barman, Piano had gotten up from the counter and had gone to the bookshelf area, just like the previous hour. It wouldn't be a bad idea to talk to the others he found either. But where to begin? Piano... dartboard. Not many areas to check this time. Dartboard. Oh boy. I just cracked my knuckles and it fucking hurt. Maybe I shouldn't do that. With some curiosity, Bill approached the group around the billiard table. It seemed like they were going to play.
Oh look, great timing. The right guy for the job is here.
What? I think he's referring to your name. Ah, I've actually never played.
Are you serious? The owner really slipped up there.
I know, right? I myself kind of suck at it, but I still enjoy playing. Only if it's with family, though. I guess. Do you play a lot of darts?
Once or twice, but not much. I'd imagine our names have some other meaning.
Other meaning? Like what?
Who knows?
His smirk as he said it made it seem like he did know, but before Bill could press on it... You really love to leave people hanging, don't you?
Me? As if I owe anybody any answers. We must keep our hand well hidden. Right, Poker?
You asking me because of my name?
Yours seems to have a more literal reason.
Well, yes to both, actually. We all have our secrets, even beyond our numbers.
Well, sure. Everybody has their own privacy, especially when they're, strangers. But some seem to have a lot more to hide than others. Is that what you're trying to say?
Are you implying I know something about this game?
Who knows?
How fun. My answer is still the same.
What answer? Dodgers don't count.
No comments. If I knew anything that would benefit everyone, I wouldn't hide it if that's what's bothering you. But I will say one thing. I really doubt everyone in here is as naive in this situation as they appear to be.
I'm with you there. This whole thing stinks.
You mean the reason we've been kidnapped? Think it wasn't random?
That's another very interesting subject.
Gin put her eyes on Dart's, thinking. Almost like she was trying to read his mind, or more realistically, as if she was trying to interfere in something by analyzing him. Dart's naturally noticed, returning the stare. A strange tension had taken form around the billiard table. It really felt like a match had started, but instead of pool, it was poker, with each player hiding their hand. Bill, however, felt as if his hand was empty. As if his only card on hand was a joker, a card he could not play, and that looked at him with a devilish smile. And no matter how hard he tried to get rid of it, it returned to haunt him.
Well, do we play or not?
Are you really going to play? Now? Yeah, not the most apt time for it, but that's exactly why it can help us relax. Going to poker anyways.
Don't worry, won't be long. Just a quick game.
And a good chance to know each other a little better.
Somehow, I feel like you're gonna use that to your advantage, unless you're really just trying to play it up, just for shits and giggles, you know what I mean? But I'd rather go for another game, to be honest.
Is there something wrong with billiards?
I'm just more into strategic heavy games. Pool has some of that, but accuracy is the key.
Yeah. I see. I get you.
Oh yeah?
Of course. Nothing like a good old mental duel, 1 against 1. The physicality of billiards is a fun challenge, and having to predict the trajectory of the ball, the strength, the angle. But the real fun isn't playing against the odds, and especially nothing like a human variable to heat up things.
Right, duh, of course. Poker would be among all players the one who gets it.
Happy to find another game fanatic here, ready to try her luck.
Oh? You really think I'm a fan of leaving things up to chance?
That's the only option you've got if you're playing against me, girl.
Oh my god, would you two stop flirting in front of me?
Yeah, right. We'll see about that.
I can bring a card deck right now and show you.
From where?
A deck? Fuck that. If we duel, I want a game that has no luck involved whatsoever.
Why? Are you really that scared of your lack of luck?
No one with any amount of luck would end up here. It happened to both of us. So I'd say it's a tie. In fact, maybe my luck went up at this meeting.
Ha! Well, flattering and begin.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm serious. Would you please stop flirting in front of me?
If we duel, I want a clean game with nothing in between, and that includes luck.
Pity. But oh well. If you really don't want to take any risks, that's how it is.
The real risk is playing against me.
Oh my god, would you two get a room?
Poker couldn't help but laugh. Both were smiling happily, toasting with their glasses. The fact that these two have relatively good chemistry together is quite interesting. I think that's kind of cute.
A chess match then. I think I saw a board around before.
Match accepted. Shame it's not Go, though. Go? Yeah, like Hikari no Go.
Isn't that Chinese chess?
Yeah, something like that.
They're similar, yeah, though still pretty different. While chess is like a battle between two armies with the goal of capturing the enemy king, Go is more like a war for land between two nations.
Wait, isn't that the one with Chinese characters written on the pieces?
No, dude, that's shogi. Don't get them confused.
Didn't take you for the Oriental trend type.
A bit bold to call trend to a game with more than 2,500 years of antiquity, don't you think?
I'm certainly bold, that's for sure.
Oh, please.
Alright then, we'll have to wait. You okay with that, Darts?
Whatever. If that's what you prefer, I won't interfere.
Nice. Let's go then.
The two went somewhere else, leaving Bill alone with the one he'd had a bit of tension with. Darts. He wanted to avoid any antagonism between them, and that seemed to be the perfect opportunity to speak calmly and make peace. At least, that's what he hoped, but it would all hinge on Darts. It's very evident that their positions on the game were quite far apart. You know, even opposite to each other. So mutual understanding could be unreachable. He had to find what Darts' goal was. If he was really going to play the game, or it was all a bluff. Still haven't given up. No. Commendable. What are your intentions? I don't understand what you're doing. Do you plan to kill? No. The game is interesting, but I'm not aiming for victory either. Really? I see why you'd think that, I suppose. Still, my intention wasn't to sabotage your plan. Simply put, I believe it's currently impossible to make everyone join together with a simple promise of cooperation. I couldn't help questioning you, but I was just being honest. My viewpoint is somewhat different, but we are both looking for something more than just survival. In that sense, I see you as a potential ally. Don't believe me? I'm not quite sure. I guess I was a bit too aggressive, but basically, you're looking for a way to save everyone. Yes. And I'm looking for something beyond. Beyond? Beyond what? Beyond the game, obviously. The creator? Tell me, Billiards. Are you with them? Huh? With them? I could take that as a no, but it's not that simple. Who do you think is the culprit?
You mean the person that put us up to this? Whoever put us here?
No idea. Avoiding the question?
What? No, it's just... I don't know. The message said the owner, but it would make more sense if it was more than one person. We barely have any info.
Barely, you say. I see.
I mean, barely as in... We can only theorize.
Right. Anything else?
No?
I see.
Darts turned around, ready to leave. Wait! Explain yourself! Dart stopped and slowly turned again, staring at him.
If your intentions are genuine, listen well. There's only one way to beat them, and it's not what you're proposing. They have the advantage for now. Though not everything is lost, not as long as we have an ace up our sleeves.
What ace? Oh, right. There wouldn't be up any sleeve if you could tell me.
Exactly. I don't mistrust you, but I also can't guarantee that you're not one of them. If I manage to confirm it, we'll talk.
Wait, why'd you ask me if I was with them? Nobody would admit it if they were.
Simple. I just wanted to see your reaction.
That kind of makes sense. Like, unless you're, like, really trained, of course somebody would probably have a reaction to, like, are you with them? And like, wait, what? Like, he probably seems like the kind of person that can analyze somebody's reaction, whether it's, and he could probably tell whether it's an overreaction or it's a genuine one. Or potentially if they're hiding something. By the way, I'm on my like third cup of coffee with this. And that's a good thing. That's a bad thing, actually. This is my last cup of coffee. Let's go.
I know it's a dangerous tactic that puts my life at risk, but all our lives are already in danger anyway.
One more thing. You asked if I was with them, our captors. Does that mean you think one of us is with them?
For now, make your own conclusions.
He got closer to him again, invading his personal space, and whispered.
But don't talk about this conversation to anyone. Even I could be one of them. I'm not, of course, but keep that mindset. Don't trust anyone too much, unless you're absolutely sure of their innocence. And one last thing. There's already someone coming for me. If you sense or find anything, I would appreciate it if you tell me. It would raise my confidence in you. And if you are with them, consider this a declaration of war. Though, I highly doubt that's the case.
Damn! Both took a step back, almost timed.
That is all for now.
He wanted to stop him again, but Bill was too disturbed to do so. Absolutely, that was tense. Alone once more, the search for a clue had to resume. The billiard table was the only thing there. Nothing else. Where to next? Let's see, three other places, sorry. Fish tank. Lower area. That's weird, I thought there were only two. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back to the piano.